every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist James McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your mid-morning statewide forecast update. We've got some beautiful sunrise pictures from our sky watchers this morning. Eric Harrison from Bon Secours sent this one in. Just beautiful kind of mid-level clouds there and some sunshine starting to peek over the horizon. Just beautiful colors there. You can see same thing from John Talbot in Hueytown, some pink hues there. Had, I think, a few showers around at that point as well, but still just a very beautiful sunrise. And then also Sarah Gilbert and Boldo had the same kind of situation there. Got a few clouds here and there, but the sun's starting to peek up over the trees and just some beautiful skies. And those clouds do help the sunrises and sunsets to be pretty nice sometimes. And you can see that looking at the satellite and radar over the state, again, good bit of cloud cover and a good bit of spots. The sun's definitely peeking through, especially in the southern part of the state. And you also have some showers, pretty light showers in kind of the south central and central part of the state. Further to the north, though, you have some fairly heavy rain in parts of the Tennessee Valley. And we'll take a closer look at the high resolution radar here. And you can see, again, pretty heavy rain in eastern Colbert County at this point, southern Lauderdale. You've got some in eastern Franklin there between Russellville and Moulton. Again, kind of just west of Moulton, coming into Moulton at this point, Town Creek, Hatton, and Lawrence County. Morgan County has had quite a bit of rain this morning, northern Coleman County, and then you've even got some in south Madison as well. Huntsville's seen some a little bit and then starting to move into Marshall. So again, it's been a pretty rainy commute so far this morning in a lot of the Tennessee Valley area. And looking at the Hatton camera up there in Lawrence County, you can see that got some rain on the lens, got some showers in the distance there, and the dew point, or the temperature is 68 and the dew point 66 degrees there. Looking there over to the east to Huntsville, there has been some rain on Monte Sano. You don't see a heavy shower necessarily in the distance at this point. Still kind of a pretty view there with those stratiform clouds in place and some of those gray skies, but the temperature is at 62 degrees there. Still not too bad as far as the humidity can be this time of year. Looking further to the south, Abbeville looking really nice. Again, down in the southern part of the state, a good bit more sunshine this morning, and the temperature is already at 73 degrees, and again, dew point's not too bad at 67 degrees for that part of the state. And further to the south, Point Clear, beautiful morning at 74 degrees. And you can see, again, blue skies. It's just some clouds in the distance, but no really rain around that part of the state. And that's part of what we're watching for today and this week. Scattered showers in the northern, mostly over the northern part of the state. Can't rule it out completely in the southern part of the state. But in general, the southern part of the state should be the drier part of the state for at least the next several days, which is kind of the opposite of what we saw for a good bit of last week. So that we should see kind of a reversal in the trend there. Cold front does arrive on Thursday, though, and so we'll expect an increase in rain chances when that comes. But that will be probably just a little bit of an uptick, and mainly in the northern part of the state, again, is what we're seeing at this point. Low temperatures so far this morning, we got into the mid-60s in some spots, 64 in both Coleman and Gadsden, got down to 68 in Selma. In some parts to the west stayed fairly warm, 71 in Tuscaloosa, 69 in Demopolis, a little bit cooler to the east because we actually had a slightly drier air in place on the eastern side of the state. And taking a look at our Skywatcher reports, similar stories here. You got 62 degrees from Ivy Hill and Bremen. Pam Henneman and Pike Road got down to 63. Don Culver in Rainbow City got to 65. Almost 70 degrees, 69 degrees in Northport from Bud Bean. And then Ben Tipton in Mobile rounded it out at 70 degrees. So again, not quite as cool as we saw some of the mornings last week, but still not too bad. Temperatures right now, we've warmed a little bit into the 70s in most spots at 73 in Gadsden. However, in places where it's been raining, we're still in the 60s, like 64 in Coleman, 67 in Huntsville. Same thing in Florence, and then further to the south, starting to warm up pretty good already, 76 in Andalusia and 74 in Dothan. Dew points, again, it's a little bit drier on the eastern side of the state. It's only 58 degrees for the dew point in Auburn and 59 in Alexander City. Again, we've had a little bit of a kind of a wedge again from the eastern coming in from the eastern side of the state and coming in from Georgia and the eastern side of the Appalachians. And so a little bit drier there compared to the rest of the state. Forecast highs for today generally going to be in the 80s, expecting, again, up to the north where there's been more rain and cloud cover. Not quite as high, maybe only to the low to mid 80s, but further to the south, 88 in Selma is what we'll expect. And so, again, very possible we'll approach 90 degrees or get to 90 degrees in some of those spots in the southern part of the state. And that part of that is because we're expecting more rain chances or better rain chances in the northern part of the state. So looking at our Futurecast, again, most of the rain stays to the north, maybe a few sprinkles towards the south, but you can see a good bit of sunshine across the southern tier of counties here. And the showers that would be kind of approaching from the west sort of fall apart as they get closer. As we get into tomorrow morning, again, maybe a few scattered showers around, kind of similar to this morning, maybe not quite as heavy as we saw in some of the Tennessee Valley areas this morning. And then towards the south, again, looks fairly dry to start off. And as we get into the afternoon, scattered showers here and there, mainly to the north. Might have a few sneak in to the west, kind of southwestern part of the state, but you can still see that most areas should have a good bit of sunshine and stay mostly dry. And then as we move into Thursday, we start to see that front begin to approach from the north. And again, we expect the main rain chances to stay mainly to the north for that one as well. So we'll continue that trend even with that front approaching. Here is our tropical development chances over the next week. And you can see actually a change in color here that's happened just in the last couple of hours. And so basically the National Hurricane Center has now got this zone here for this tropical wave that's come off Africa as a 70% chance of development. So they're expecting at this point that this will become a tropical depression later this week. And then we'll keep an eye on it and track it as it moves to the west. At this point, it's looking more likely that it could turn off into the Atlantic before it reaches land, but that's not a guarantee. We got a lot of time to kind of keep an eye on it, but thankfully, again, further to the west in the Caribbean and the Gulf, we're still quiet, and we still expect that to stay that way for the next 7 to 10 days, which is always good. All right, your 7-day forecast for North Alabama. Again, more chances of rain for today and tomorrow, scattered showers around the area. Temperatures maybe only getting into the low to mid 80s as far as high temperatures with lows in the 60s. And then starting to dry out more as we get past the cold frontal passage. Friday actually will be pretty warm, but not as humid because we'll have a little bit drier air in place. Weekend looking pretty beautiful at this point. Might have a reinforcing shot of some slightly cooler air as we get into the weekend. And then for South Alabama, again, a little bit higher temperatures, getting up to the upper 80s, approaching 90 degrees with lows still in the mid to upper 60s. Again, smaller rain chances kind of across the board. Still could see a scattered shower or two, but mostly lower rain chances. And then as we head towards the weekend again, we'll still be fairly warm, but not too bad for this time of year. Well, that is your Alabama forecast for this morning. We'll have another one coming up in a few hours on the Alabama Weather Network.